The Supreme Court of the United States has spoken. They have ruled. It is over. Joe Biden is going to be inaugurated as the next president in January. It's time to just accept that the current leader got defeated, he got outmaneuvered. What the Supreme Court ruled, in essence, in one photo is this, and you should thank God every day for it, that we are 50 individual states, each of us allowed to rule ourselves sovereignly. Texas has a standard, Florida has a standard, Ohio has a standard, North Carolina has a standard, and we applied our standard, and we voted for Donald Trump. Pennsylvania has one, Michigan has one, Wisconsin has another one, and they did not. Is their standard our standard? No. But they are allowed to have that standard, and no other state can tell another state what their standards should and should not be. And this is what a conservative court would always rule, because that's what the Constitution says. Now, here's the good news. I've made this allegation before, and I'll say it again. From the Democrats' perspective, what they have just done would be the equivalent of, back in 2016, having nominated Christie or Kasich to run with Trump as the vice president. That's what they're... Now imagine if that had been the case. Trump supporter, imagine if that had been the case. If Chris Christie or John Kasich had been the top of the ticket and Trump the under ticket. How would you have felt? That's exactly what is being felt over on the Democrat side right now. They literally had to put up the guy who was closest to the conservative side as they could get. There was no one running more conservative for the Democrats than Joe Biden. And this is the South China Morning Post. Now, do you think they care what conservatives in America think? Do you think the South China Morning Post cares what conservatives in America think? So why would they put this article out? U.S.-China trade war. Joe Biden hints he will keep up pressure on Beijing with pledge to fight unfair trade practices. Even more evidence that the man is going to rule as a conservative. Now, I know what people have already probably typed in the comments. 25th Amendment, they're going to install Kamala Harris. And, oh, did you hear about John Kerry? He's going to be the China ambassador, whatever. First of all, your make-believe 25th Amendment nonsense rings very much like Walmart FEMA camps, martial law, Mayan apocalypse, end of elections, rise of the Antichrist garbage from 2008 to 2016 that we heard over and over and over again, none of which came true. Funny story, though, about John Kerry. I want you to remember John Kerry. We're going to talk about him here in a few minutes. But what a lot of you don't know is this, and this is going to be the part that really messes with your head. See, this is Mika and Joe from MSNBC interviewing Donald Trump. Now, for copyright reasons, I can't actually play the interview, but I can tell you what was said, and I can give you the link. It'll be down in the first pinned comment, and you can watch it for yourself. It goes all the way back to June of 2015. That's right, June 18th, 2015, Donald Trump on MSNBC talking with Mika and Joe, Morning Joe. And they're asking, what would a president, Donald Trump, do to fix the problem with China? Meaning, who would you put in as, say, Secretary of the Treasury? Who would you nominate? Well, he gave 3 names. These were the 3 names that he gave. Carl Icahn, Jack Welch, and I'm trying to remember this guy's name in the middle here. I will also get down the first pinned comment for you. It just ran out of my head, but he named 3 guys that he said would be good negotiators. Now, none of these guys were nominated for any cabinet positions ever. Jack Welch, for a very, very short time, was an advisor. back in 17, but that was very short-lived. But when directly asked who he would nominate if he were president, these were the three guys he named. And he went off on some tirade about Carolyn Kennedy. Remember that as well. Now, who did he actually nominate? Who did he actually nominate? That's right. Member of the Skull and Bones from Yale, Steve Mnuchin. That's who actually became our Secretary of Treasury for the last 4 years. Now ask yourself why that would be. And if you think that's bad, oh, by the way, John Kerry, also a member of Skull and Bones. But this goes back to February 17, 2011, this article. Now, this was only 5 years before Trump ran. Only 5 years. 4, technically, if you count the fact that he said he was going to run in June of 2015. This is February of 11. So this is only, 4 years and a couple of months? Wait until you hear who he was giving money to. I'll give you this link. You can read it for yourself. Trump contributed to 96 candidates running for federal political office since the 90 election cycle. So much for being an outsider. So much for being a new sheriff in town. Only half of the recipients were Republicans. One of them, Arlen Specter, flipped parties, and he was a Republican. Charlie Crist, independent from Florida, was another one. But since the 1990 election cycle, and this was 2011, the top 10 recipients of Trump's political contributions number 6 Democrats and 4 Republicans. Charlie Rangel has received, Democrat, New York, received the most Trump money, totaling $24,750 to Charlie Rangel, including a $10,000 gift in 2006. Of the 22.5 in that period, 16,200 benefited Democrats. The top Republican recipient of Trump money, Senator John McCain, collected $13,600 from the magnate, the second most of any politician. Guess who the number one was? Senator Frank Lautenberg, New Jersey, Democrat, $12,000 in Trump contributions. Majority Leader Harry Reid, number 4, $4,800, who was running against a Tea Party favorite, Sharon Angle. $4,000, Chuck Schumer, Democrat, New York. $5,800, Democrat Senator Kirsten Gillibrand. Money to Mark Foley, remember the Page scandal? The guy who liked the boys? Here's a laundry list. $7,000, Ted Kennedy. Remember his railing, and you can see it in the video, where he rails against Caroline Kennedy, who is now on the board of Boeing, where Trump said that they deserve to get a bailout for coronavirus. $7,500 to Giuliani, $5,500 to John Kerry, $5,000 to Newt Gingrich, $4,000 Democrat Tom Daschle, $2,000 to George W. Bush, and believe it or not, $1,000 to then Senator Joe Biden of Delaware. Now tell me, what interest could possibly Donald Trump have had in Delaware to give $1,000 to Senator Democrat Joe Biden? And here is the cherry on this Sunday. During the most recent election cycle, and this was 2011, Trump contributed $170,000 to the Republican Governors Association, $50,000 to American Crossroads, $30,000 to the National Republican Senatorial Committee, and $10,000 to the Democrat Party of New York. However, of the nearly $420,000 Trump has donated to committees, the largest recipient has been the Democratic Senatorial Campaign Committee, with $116,000. So, still think you didn't get schnookered? Still think you didn't get played? And here's the link for President Trump saying he supports a bailout for Boeing, who has Caroline Kennedy as chair. See, You say one thing and you do another, you're never going to win. Say one thing, do another, you're never going to win. And this is just fact. He got outmaneuvered. Joe Biden, recipient of Trump money, is going to be president. Period. And that's the way the conservative Supreme Court has ruled, that we are sovereign states. And you better thank God every day for it, because if they had ruled anything else, it would have opened the door for the end of states' rights, the end of state sovereignty in our nation. So be thankful that Joe Biden is going to be president. And don't think this is some win for them. It's not. Ask yourself, why? See, this is at McCain's funeral, right here. You know, the number one recipient of Trump Republican money. You need to really think about what really happened this last 4 years and how you made the decisions that you did. Like, share, subscribe.